There. It's 9 o'clock. We've drunk the soup and eaten the macaroni and cheese and the American salad. The children have drunk the American water. We've eaten well this evening. That's because we live in the suburbs of America and because our name is Smith. Potatoes are very good fried and fat. The oil from the grocer at the corner is better quality than the oil from the grocer across the street. It is even better than the oil from the bottom of the street, however. I prefer not to tell them that their oil is bad. The fish was fresh. It made my mouth water. I had 2 helpings, no, 3 helpings. That made me go to the bathroom. You also had 3 helpings, however. The last time you took less than the first 2 times, whereas I took a great deal more. I ate better than you this evening. Why is that? Usually it is you who eats more. It is not appetite that you lack. The soup was still perhaps a bit too salt. It was saltier than you. It had too many leeks and not enough onions, I regret. I didn't advise Mary to add some aniseed stars. Next time I will know better. Our little boy wanted to drink some beer. Did you see how he stared at the bottle on the table? But I poured some water from the jug into his glass. He was thirsty, and he drank it. Helen's like me, a good manager, thrifty, plays the piano. She never wants to drink American beer. She's like our good daughter that drinks only milk and eats only porridge. It's obvious she's only 2. Her name is Peggy. The bean and quince pie was marvelous. It would have been nice, perhaps, to have a glass of Australian burgundy with the sweet, but I did not want to bring the bottle to the table because I did not want to set the children a bad example of gluttony. They must learn to be sober and temperate. There's a grocer, and he goes by the name of Popsko Rosenfeld. He sells yogurt. He has a degree in yogurt making from Adrianople. He comes from Constantinople. Tomorrow I'm going to buy a large pot of native Romanian yogurt from him. One doesn't often find such things in the suburbs of Connecticut. Yogurt is good for the stomach, the kidneys, the liver, and the apotheoses. It was Dr. Mackenzie King who told me that. He's a very good doctor. He's the doctor for the children of our neighbors, the Johns. He doesn't prescribe any medication. He's not tried out on himself first. One time when he had to do an operation on Parker, he got one done on himself even though he wasn't the least bit ill.
But then how does it happen that the doctor pulled through while Parker died?
Because the operation was successful in the doctor's case, and it was not in Parker's.
Well, then Mackenzie is not a good doctor. The operation should have succeeded with both of them, or else they both should have died.
Why?
Well, a conscientious doctor must die with his patient if they can't get well together. A captain of a ship goes down with his ship into the briny deep. He doesn't survive alone.
One cannot compare a patient with a ship.
Why not? I mean, a ship has its diseases too. Moreover, your doctor's as hale as a ship, and that's why he should have perished at the same time as his patient, like a captain and his ship.
I'd never thought of this. And what conclusion do you draw from that?
All doctors are quacks, and all patients too. Only the New York Yankees are honest in America.
But not sailors.
Well, naturally. Here's what I don't understand. In the newspaper, they always give the age of the deceased, but never the age of the newly born. It doesn't make any sense.
I've never thought of that.
Oh, it says here that Bobby Watson died.
My God! The poor man, when did he die?
Why do you pretend to be astonished? You know very well that he's been dead these past couple years. Surely you remember that we attended his funeral only a year and a half ago.
Well, yes, of course, I remembered right away. I was only surprised that you were so astonished yourself to see it in the paper.
It wasn't in the paper. It's been 3 years since his death was announced. I remembered it through an association of ideas.
What a shame. He was so well preserved.
He was the handsomest corpse in all of Great Britain. It didn't look his age, too, poor Bobby. He'd been dead for 4 years, and he was still warm. A veritable living corpse. And how cheerful he was.
Poor Bobby.
Which poor Bobby do you mean?
Oh, it's his wife that I mean. She was called Bobby, too. Bobby Watson. Oh, since they both have the same name, you could never tell one from the other when you saw them together. It was only after his death that you could really tell which was which. And even today, some people still confuse the two, and they still offer their condolences to him. Do you know her?
I met her once by chance at Bobby's burial.
Oh, I've never seen her. Is she pretty?
She has regular features, yet one cannot say that she is, pretty. She's too big and too stout. She does not have regular features, yet one can say that she is very pretty. She's too small and too thin. She's a voice teacher.
We shall have to go to their wedding, I suppose.
We shall have to give them a wedding present. I wonder what.
We could give them one of the 7 silver sovereigns that were given to us for our wedding and have never been to any use for us. How sad to be left a widow so young.
Unfortunately, they had no children.
Oh, that was all she needed, the poor woman. Children, how could she have managed?
Well, she's still very young. She may very well remarry. She looks so well in mourning.
But who would take care of the children? You know very well they have a boy and a girl. What were their names?
Bobby and Bobby, like their parents. Bobby Watson's uncle, old Bobby Watson, is a very rich man and very fond of the boy. He may very well pay for Bobby's education.
Oh, and then old Bobby Watson might, in her turn, pay for the education of Bobby, Bobby Watson's daughter. That way, Bobby Watson's mother might remarry. Has she anyone in mind?
Yes, a cousin of Bobby Watson's.
Oh, who? Bobby Watson?
Which Bobby Watson do you mean?
Oh, it's his uncle that I mean. He was called Bobby too, Bobby Watson.
No, it's not that one. It's Bobby Watson, the son of old Bobby Watson, the late Bobby Watson's aunt.
Bobby Watson, the commercial traveler.
Well, all the Bobby Watsons are commercial travelers.
It's a difficult trade. They do well at it, though.
When there's no competition.
And when is there no competition?
On Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Tuesdays.
3 days. And what does Bobby Watson do on those 3 days?
He rests, he sleeps.
Why would he rest and sleep on those 3 days if there's no competition?
Look, I don't know everything. I can't answer all of your idiotic questions.
Oh, are you trying to humiliate me?
You know very well that I am not.
Men are all like you sit there with a cigarette in your mouth, or else you rouge your lips or powder your nose 50 times a day, or else you drink like a fish.
How would you like it if men act like women do? Sitting around smoking all day, powdering, rouging their lips, drinking whiskey.
Well, it's nothing to me. Well, if you're just trying to annoy me, you know very well I don't care for that kind of joking.
Oh, my little ducky daddles, what a little spitfire you are. You only know that I meant it as a joke. What a ridiculous pair of old lovers we are. Come, let's put out the lights and go bye-byes.
I'm the maid. I spent a very pleasant afternoon. I went to the cinema with a man, and I saw a film with some women. After the cinema, we went to drink some brandy and milk and then read the newspaper.
Oh, I hope that you spent a pleasant afternoon, and that you went to the cinema with a man, and that you drank some brandy and milk.
And the newspaper.
Mr. and Mrs. Martin, your guests, are at the door. They were waiting for me. They didn't dare come in by themselves.
We were supposed to have dinner with them, and we were hungry. We were going to start without them, but you had gone out. You should not have gone out.
It was you who gave me permission.
We didn't do it on purpose, though.
A chamber pot.
My little Mary, go let Mr. and Mrs. Martin in. We will change quickly.
Why have you come so late? You are not very polite. People should be punctual. Do you understand? But come. Sit down here anyway and wait, now that you're here.
Excuse me, madam, but it seems to me, unless I'm mistaken, that I've met you somewhere before.
I too, sir. It seems to me that I've met you somewhere before.
Was it, by any chance, in Manchester that I caught a glimpse of you?
That is very possible. I'm originally from the city of Manchester, but I do not have a good memory, sir. I cannot say whether it was there that I caught a glimpse of you or not.
Good God, that's curious. I, too, am originally from the city of Manchester.
That is curious.
Isn't that curious? Only I left the city of Manchester about 5 weeks ago.
That is curious. What a bizarre coincidence. I too, sir. I left Manchester about 5 weeks ago.
I took the 8:30 morning train, which arrives in New Haven at 4:45.
That is curious. How bizarre and what a coincidence. I took that same train, sir, I too.
How curious it is. Perhaps it was on the train that I saw you.
It is indeed possible. That is not unlikely. It is plausible, and after all, why not? But I don't recall it, sir.
I traveled second class. There is no second class in America, but I always travel second class.
That is curious. How bizarre and what a coincidence. I too, sir, I traveled second class.
How curious that is. Perhaps it was in second class that we met.
That is certainly possible. That is not at all unlikely, but I don't recall it, sir.
My seat was in coach number 8, compartment 6.
How curious that is. How bizarre. My seat was in coach number 8, compartment 6, dear sir.
How curious it is, and what a bizarre coincidence. Perhaps it was in compartment 6 that we met.
It is indeed possible after all. However, I do not believe that I recall it.
To tell the truth, dear lady, I do not remember it either, but it is possible that we caught a glimpse of each other there, and as I think of it, it seems to me even very likely.
Truly. Of course, truly, sir.
How curious it is. I had seat number 3 next to the window.
How curious that is! I had seat number 6 next to the window, across from you, my dear sir.
Good God, how curious that is, and what a coincidence. We were then seated facing each other. It is that we must have seen each other.
It is very possible, but I don't recall it, sir.
To tell the truth, dear lady, I do not remember it either, but it is very possible that we caught a glimpse of each other on that occasion.
That is true, but I am not at all sure of it, sir.
Oh, madam, were you not the lady who asked me to place your suitcase in the luggage rack and who thanked me and gave me permission to smoke?
But of course that must have been I. How curious it is. How curious it is, and what a coincidence.
How curious it is. Perhaps it was at that moment that we came to know each other.
It is indeed possible, but I don't recall it, sir.
Nor do I, madam. Since coming to New Haven, I have resided in Church Street.
How curious that is! How bizarre! I too, since coming to New Haven, I have resided on Church Street.
How curious it is. Well then, perhaps it is in Church Street that we have met.
It is certainly possible. However, I do not believe that I recall it.
I reside at number 19.
How curious that is! I too, sir, I reside at number 19.
Well then, perhaps it is in that house that we have met.
It is indeed possible, but I don't recall it, sir.
My flat is on the 5th floor, number 8.
How curious that is! How bizarre! My flat is on the 5th floor, number 8, dear sir.
How curious it is, how curious it is, how curious it is. And what a coincidence. You know, in my bedroom, there's a bed, and it is covered with green eiderdown. This room with the bed and the green eiderdown is at the end of the corridor between the restroom and the bookcase.
What a coincidence! Good Lord! My bedroom, too, has a bed, and it is covered with a green eiderdown. It is at the end of the corridor between the bathroom, dear sir, and the bookcase.
How curious, bizarre, strange. We then live in the same room and sleep in the same bed. Perhaps it is there that we have met.
How curious it is! It is indeed possible that we have met there, and perhaps even last night, but I don't recall it, sir.
I have a little girl, my little daughter. She lives with me, dear lady. She's 2 years old. She's blonde. She has a white eye and a red eye. Oh, she's very pretty. Her name is Alice, dear lady.
How curious it is! Good Lord, how bizarre! I too have a little daughter. She is 2 years old, has a white eye and a red eye. She is very pretty, and her name is Alice too, dear sir.
How curious it is. Perhaps they are the same.
How curious it is! It is indeed possible.
Then I believe that there can be no doubt about it. We have seen each other before, and you are my own wife. Elizabeth, I found you again.
Donald, it's you, darling.
Elizabeth and Donald are now too happy to be able to hear me. Therefore, I can let you in on a little secret. Elizabeth is not Elizabeth. Donald is not Donald. And here's the proof. The child that Donald spoke of is not Elizabeth's daughter. They are not the same person. Donald's daughter has one white eye and one red eye, like Elizabeth's daughter, whereas Donald's child has a white right eye and a red left eye. Elizabeth's child has a red right eye and a white left eye. Thus, all of Donald's system of deduction collapses when it comes up against this last obstacle which destroys his whole theory. In spite of the extraordinary coincidences, which seem to be definitive proofs, Donald and Elizabeth, not being the parents of the same child, are not Donald and Elizabeth. It is in vain that he thinks he is Donald. It is in vain that she thinks she is Elizabeth. He believes in vain that she is Elizabeth, and she believes in vain that he is Donald. They are sadly deceived. But who is the true Donald? Who is the true Elizabeth? Who has any interest in prolonging this confusion? I do not know. Let's try not to know. Let's just leave things as they are. My real name is Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, darling, let's forget all that has not passed between us. And now that we have found each other again, let's try not to lose each other anymore and live as before.
Yes, darling.
Good evening, dear friends. We're sorry for having made you wait so long, but once we heard of your unexpected arrival, we hurried to dress for the occasion.
And we've had nothing to eat all day, and we've been waiting 4 whole hours for you. Why have you come so late?
Oh, but definitely.
We all have colds.
Nevertheless, it's not chilly.
There's no draft.
Oh, yes, fortunately.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
Don't you feel well?
No, he has wet his pants.
Sir, at your age, you shouldn't.
Well, the heart is ageless.
That's true.
they say.
Since you travel so much, you must have many interesting things to tell us.
Oh, my dear, tell us what you've seen today.
It's scarcely worth the trouble, for no one would believe me.
Oh, we're not going to question your sincerity.
You will offend us if you think that.
You will offend them, my dear, if you think that.
Well, today, I witnessed something extraordinary. Something really incredible.
Tell us quickly, my dear.
Oh, this is going to be amusing.
At last!
Well, today, when I went shopping for some vegetables, which are getting to be dearer and dearer.
Oh, where is it all going to end?
You shouldn't interrupt, my dear. It's very rude.
In the street near a cafe, I saw a man properly dressed, about 50 years old, or not even that.
What?
What?
Stop interrupting, my dear. You're disgusting.
It was you who interrupted first, you boy!
Hush! What was this man doing?
Well, I'm sure you'll say I'm making it up, but he was down on one knee, and he was bent over.
Oh!
Yes, he was bent over.
Not possible.
Bent over. I went near him to see what he was doing.
And?
He was tying his shoelace, which had come undone.
Fantastic! Oh, if someone else had told me this, I'd not believe it.
Why not? One sees things even more extraordinary every day when one walks around. For instance, today, in the subway, I myself saw a man quietly sitting in a seat, reading his newspaper.
What a character!
Perhaps it was the same man. Goodness, someone is ringing.
There must be someone there. I'll go see. No one.
I'm going to give you another example.
Goodness, someone is ringing.
There must be someone. I'll go see. Nobody.
You were saying you were going to give us another example.
Oh, yes.
Goodness, someone is ringing.
I'm not going to open the door again.
But there's someone there.
The first time there was no one. The second time there was no one. Why do you think that there will be someone there now?
Because someone has rung.
That's no reason.
What? When one hears the doorbell ring, that means someone is at the door ringing to have the door open.
Not always. You've just seen otherwise.
In most cases, yes.
Well, as for me, when I go to visit someone, I ring in order to be admitted. I think that everyone does the same, that each time there's a ring, it is because there's someone at the door.
You see, that is true in theory, but in reality, things happen differently.
Your wife is right.
Oh, you women, you always stand up for each other.
Well, you can't say that I am obstinate, but you will see that there is no one there. See? No one. These men who think that they're right, but who are always wrong.
Goodness, someone is ringing. There must be someone there.
I'm not going to open the door. Experience teaches us that when one hears the doorbell ring, it is because there is never anyone there.
Never.
That's not entirely accurate.
In fact, it's false. Each time there is a ring, it is because there is someone at the door.
No!
Yes.
In any case, I'm not going to open it again. Open it yourself.
I'll go. Oh, how do you do? It's the fire chief.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, Mrs. Smith. You appear to be angry.
Oh.
Well, you see, it's because my wife is a little chagrined at having been proved wrong.
There's been an argument between Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Mr. Fire Chief.
You stay out of this. And I beg you not to involve others in our family arguments.
Oh, my dear, this is not so serious. The fire chief is an old friend of the family. His mother courted me, and I knew his father. And he asked me for my daughter's hand in marriage if I ever had one, and he died waiting.
And that's neither his fault nor yours. Well, what is it all about?
My husband was claiming.
No, it was you who was claiming.
Yes, it was she.
No, it was he.
Don't get excited.
You tell me, Mrs. Smith.
Well, I would be hesitant to tell you, but a fireman is also a confessor.
Well, then.
My husband was saying that every time the doorbell rings, there is always someone there.
It is plausible.
And I was saying that every time the doorbell rings, there was never anyone there.
It might seem strange.
But it's true, and it's not based on theoretical demonstrations, but on facts.
But that is false, since the fire chief is here. He rang the bell, and I opened the door, and here he is.
When?
But just now.
But that was the fourth time the doorbell rings, and the fourth time the doorbell rings, it does not count.
Never. It is only the first 3 times that count.
Mr. Fire Chief, permit me in my turn to ask you several questions.
Go right ahead.
When I opened the door and saw you, was it really you who had rung?
Yes, it was I.
You were at the door and you rang in order to be admitted.
I do not deny it.
You see, I was right. Each time there is a ring, it is because there is someone at the door. And you cannot say that the fire chief is not someone.
Well, of course the fire chief is someone, but I was referring to the first 3 times the doorbell rings, since I repeat, the fourth time does not count.
And when the doorbell rang the first time, was that you?
No, it was not I.
See? The doorbell rang when there was no one there.
Perhaps it was someone else.
Were you standing at the door for a long time?
3/4 of an hour.
And you saw no one?
No one, I'm sure of that.
And did you hear the bell when it rang the second time?
Yes, and that wasn't I either.
Victory, I was right.
Not so fast. What were you doing at the door?
Nothing. I was just standing there. I was thinking of many things.
But the third time, was it not you who rang?
Yes, it was I.
But when the door was open, there was nobody in sight.
That was because I had hidden myself. As a joke.
Now is not the time for jokes, Mr. Fire Chief. This business is too sad.
In short, we still do not know whether when the doorbell rings, someone is there or not.
Never anyone.
Always someone!
I'm going to reconcile you. When the doorbell rings, sometimes there's someone, and other times there's no one.
This seems logical to me.
I think so too.
Life is very simple, really. Go on and kiss each other.
We just kissed each other a little while ago.
They'll kiss each other tomorrow. They have plenty of time.
Mr. Fire Chief, since you've helped us settle this dispute, why don't you sit down and make yourself comfortable?
Excuse me, but I can't stay long. I must admit to you I'm here for another reason. I'm on official business.
Oh, what can we help you with?
If you would, pardon my indiscretion in front of them.
Say whatever you like.
We're old friends. They tell us everything.
Speak.
Well, are there any fires here?
Why would you ask us this?
Well, it's because, pardon me, I'm on orders to extinguish all the fires in the city.
Oh,
Yes, all.
I don't think there's any here now, but I could check.
No, I don't smell anything burning. There can't be any fires here.
Really? Not even a little one in the chimney? Something in the attic or the cellar? Just a little one starting at least?
I'm afraid to disappoint you, but I don't think there's anything here at the moment. We'll be sure to let you know if we do find something.
Oh, please don't forget, that would be a great help.
That's a promise.
And you? Nothing burning at your house either?
No, unfortunately.
Things aren't going so well just now.
Oh, very poorly. There's been almost nothing. A few trifles, a chimney, a barn, nothing important. And since there are no returns, the profits on output are very meager.
Well, times are tough. That's true all over. It's the same this year with business and agriculture as it is with fires. Nothing is prospering.
No wheat, no fires, no floods either.
Oh, there is some sugar.
That's because it's imported.
It's harder in the case of fires. The tariffs are too high.
There's the occasional asphyxiation by gas, but that's unusual too. Just last week, a young woman asphyxiated herself. She had left the gas on.
Had she forgotten it?
No, but she had thought it was her comb.
Oh, these confusions are always dangerous.
Have you been to see the match dealer?
I haven't any doing there. He's insured against fires.
Well, why don't you go see the Bishop of Wakefield and use my name?
I don't have the right to extinguish clergymen's fires. The cardinal would get angry. Besides, they extinguish them themselves, or else they have them put out by Vestal virgins.
Go see the Durans.
I can't do that either. He's not American. He's only been naturalized, and naturalized citizens have the right to own houses, but not to have them put out if they're burning.
But last year his fire was put out all the same.
He did that by himself, clandestinely. And it's not I who would report him.
Neither would I.
Mr. Fire Chief, since it seems you're not too pressed for time, why don't you sit down and stay a little while longer? You'd be doing us a great favor.
Shall I tell you some stories?
Yes, some stories, hurrah! But what's even more extraordinary is that all of the fire chief's stories are true and based on experience.
I speak from my own experience. Truth, nothing but the truth. No fiction.
That's true. Truth is never found in books, only in life.
Begin.
Begin.
Be quiet, he's beginning.
Excuse me. Don't look at me like that. You embarrass me. You know that I'm shy.
Oh, isn't he charming?
I shall try to begin anyhow, but promise me that you will not listen.
But if we don't listen to you, we won't hear you.
I hadn't thought of that.
I told you, he's just a boy.
Oh, the sweet child.
Chin up.
Well then. The Dog and the Cow, an experimental fable. Another cow said to another dog, "Why have you not swallowed your trunk?" "Pardon me," replied the dog, "it is because I thought I was an elephant."
What is the moral?
That's for you to figure out.
He's right.
Tell us another.
A young calf had eaten too much ground glass. As a result, he was obliged to give birth. He brought forth a cow into the world. However, the resulting cow could not call him Mama because he was male, nor could he call him Papa because he was too little. The calf was then obliged to get married, and the registry office carried out all of the details completely a la mode.
A la mode de con, like tripes.
You've heard that one?
He was in all of the papers.
It happened not far from our house.
The cock. The cock wished to play the dog, but he had no luck because everyone recognized him right away.
But the dog who wished to play the cock was never recognized.
Well, I'll tell you one. The snake and the fox. Once upon a time, a snake came up to a fox and said, "It seems to me that I know you." "Me too," said the fox. Then said the snake, "Give me some money." "A fox doesn't give money," replied the tricky animal, who, in order to escape, jumped into a deep ravine full of strawberries and chicken honey. But the snake was waiting there for him with the Mephistophelian laugh. The fox pulled out his knife, shouting, "I'm going to teach you how to live." Then he took to flight, turning his back. But the snake was too quick. With the well-chosen blow of the fist, he struck the fox straight in the middle of the forehead, which shattered into 1,000 pieces, while he cried out, "No! No! 4 times no! I am not your daughter."
It's interesting.
It's not bad.
My congratulations.
It's not so good. And anyway, I've heard that one before.
It's terrible.
Unfortunately.
Oh, it's your turn to tell us a story, dear lady.
I only know one. It's called The Bouquet.
Oh, my wife has always been a romantic.
She's a true American woman.
The Bouquet. Once upon a time, a fiancé gave to his fiancée a beautiful bouquet of flowers, but then he, in order to teach her a good lesson without saying a single word, took the flowers back and said, "I take them back." He then said goodbye and went off in all directions.
It's interesting.
It's not bad.
It's not so good. And anyway, I've heard that one before.
Unfortunately.
Oh, it's your turn to tell us a story, dear lady.
Oh, I only know one. It's called The Bouquet.
Oh, my wife has always been a romantic.
She's a true American woman.
The Bouquet. Once upon a time, a fiancé gave to his fiancée a beautiful bouquet of flowers, but then he, in order to teach her a good lesson without saying a single word, took the flowers back and said, "I take them back." He then said goodbye and went off in all directions.
It's interesting.
It's not bad.
Not so good. And anyway, I've heard that one before.
Unfortunately.
Oh, it's your turn to tell us a story, dear lady.
Oh, I only know one. It's called The Bouquet.
Oh, my wife has always been a romantic.
She's a true American woman.
The Bouquet. Once upon a time, a fiancé gave to his fiancée a beautiful bouquet of flowers, but then he, in order to teach her a good lesson without saying a single word, took the flowers back and said, "I take them back." He then said goodbye and went off in all directions.
Oh, charming.
You have a wife, Mr. Smith, of whom all the world is jealous.
My wife is intelligence personified. She's even more intelligent than I. Well, in any case, she's much more feminine. Everyone says so.
Mr. Fire Chief, why don't you tell us another story?
Oh no, it's too late.
Tell us one anyway.
I'm too tired.
Please do us this one favor.
I beg you.
No.
You have a heart of ice. We're sitting on hot coals.
I implore you.
Righto.
Oh, your bees is gonna bore us again.
No, look, I was too polite.
The head colds. My brother-in-law had, on the paternal side, a first cousin whose maternal uncle had a father-in-law whose grandfather had taken as his second wife a young native woman whose brother he had met on one of his travels, a girl with whom he was quite enamored, and with whom he had a son who married an intrepid lady pharmacist, who was the niece of none other than an unknown fourth-class petty officer of the Royal Navy, whose adopted father had an aunt who spoke Spanish fluently, and who was perhaps the granddaughter of an engineer who died young, who was himself the grandson of an owner of a vineyard which produced mediocre wine, but who had a second cousin, a stay-at-home sergeant major, whose son married a very pretty young woman, a divorcee, whose first husband was the son of a loyal patriot, who in hopes of making his fortune, had managed to bring up his daughter to marry a footman who had known Rothschild, whose brother, after having changed his trade several times, married and had a daughter whose stunted great-grandfather wore spectacles, even named by a cousin of his, the brother-in-law of a man from Portugal, natural son of a miller, not too badly off. His son, a former country doctor, was himself the natural son of a forester, himself the natural son of another country doctor, married 3 times in a row, his third wife.
I knew the third wife, if I'm not mistaken. She ate chicken sitting on a hornet's nest.
Oh, it's not the same one. Anyway, as I was saying, his third wife was the daughter of the best midwife in the region who early left a widow.
Like my wife.
And married a glazier who was full of life and who had had by the daughter of a station master, a child who had burned his bridges.
His bridges!
No, his bridge game.
And had married an oyster woman whose father had a brother married in a small town, whose cousin, a fly fisherman,
Fly-by-night.
had taken as his wife a blonde school teacher named Marie, whose brother had taken as his wife another Marie, also a blonde school teacher.
Since she's a blonde, her name must be Marie.
His father had been reared in Canada by an old woman who was the niece of a priest whose grandmother occasionally in the winter, like everyone, what a cold.
not even true.
If you catch a cold, you should get yourself a coat.
A useless precaution, but absolutely necessary.
Excuse me, Mr. Fire Chief, but I did not follow your story very well. When we got to the part about the grandmother of the priest, I got mixed up.
One always gets mixed up in the hands of a priest.
Mr. Fire Chief, would you do us a favor of telling us the story again?
Oh no, I don't know whether I'll be able to. I'm on official business. It depends on what time it is.
Oh, we don't have the time.
But the clock.
It runs bad. It's contradictory. It always indicates the opposite of what the hour really is.
Madam? Sir?
What do you want?
What are you doing here, Mary?
Well, I was hoping if Madam and Sir will excuse me, and the lady and gentleman too, I would like to tell you a story myself.
What is she saying?
I think our friend's maid is going crazy. She wants to tell us a story too.
Who does she think she is? Oh.
Why are you butting in?
This is really uncalled for, Mary.
Oh. But it is she. Incredible.
And you?
Incredible. Here.
What is this?
You two know each other?
And how?
I'm so glad to see you again at last.
This is too much for us here in our home in the suburbs of Connecticut.
This is not proper.
It was she who extinguished my first fires.
And your little fire station.
Well, in that case, dear friends, these emotions are understandable, human, honorable.
Yes, all that is human is honorable.
I still don't want to see it. It's here among us.
You must understand that she hasn't been brought up properly.
Oh, you have too many prejudices.
Well, what I think is that a maid, after all, even though it's none of my business, is never anything but a maid.
Even if she can sometimes be a rather good detective.
Let me go.
Please don't be upset. They're not so bad, really.
You two are very, touching, but at the same time, a little,
Oh yes, that's the word.
a little too exhibitionistic.
There is a Native American modesty, excuse me for once again trying to define my thought, that is not understood by foreigners, even by specialists, thanks to which I may thus express myself. Oh, of course, I don't mean to refer to you.
I was going to tell you.
Don't tell us anything.
Mary, go into the kitchen and read your poems before the mirror.
You know, even though I'm not a maid, I also read my poems before the mirror.
But when you looked at yourself in the mirror this morning, you didn't see yourself.
That's because I wasn't there yet.
I could perhaps recite a little poem for you.
Mary, you are very obstinate.
I will recite a poem then. Are we agreed? It's a poem entitled The Fire, in honor of the fire chief. The fire. The parlor points were burning in the wood. A stone caught fire. The castle caught fire. The trees caught fire. The men caught fire. The women caught fire. The sky caught fire. The birds caught fire. The air caught fire. The ashes caught fire. The smoke caught fire. The fire caught fire. Everything caught fire. Caught fire. Caught fire.
That sent chills up my spine.
And yet there was a certain warmth in those lines.
I thought it was marvelous.
All the same.
You're exaggerating.
Just a minute. I admit, and all of this is very subjective, but this is my conception of the world. My world. My dream. My ideal. And that reminds me that I must go. Since you don't have the time here, I must tell you that in exactly 3/4 of an hour and 16 minutes, I'm having a fire across town. Consequently, I must hurry, even though it's nothing important.
What will it be, a little chimney fire?
Oh, not even that. Some straw fire, a little heartburn.
Well, we're sorry to see you go.
Thanks to you, we have passed by a truly Cartesian quarter of the hour.
Speaking of that, the Bald Soprano.
She always wears her hair in the same fashion.
Ah then. Goodbye, ladies and gentlemen.
Good luck and a good fire.
Let's hope so. For all of us.
I can buy a pocket knife for my brother, but you can't buy Ireland for your grandfather.
One walks with his feet, but one heats with electricity or coal.
He who sells an ox today will have an egg tomorrow.
In real life, one must look out of the window.
One can sit down on the chair when the chair doesn't have any.
Oh, one must always think of everything.
The ceiling is above, the floor is below.
When I say yes, it's only a manner of
To
speaking.
each his own.
Take a circle, caress it, and it will turn vicious.
A schoolmaster teaches his pupils to read, but the cat suckles her young when they are small.
Nevertheless, it was the cow that gave us tails.
When I'm in the country, I prefer the solitude and the quiet.
You are not old enough yet for that.
Benjamin Franklin was right. You are more nervous than he.
What are the 7 days of the week?
Lundi, mardi, mercredi, vendredi, samedi, dimanche.
Edouard Clerc, sacerdoce in dactylo, et son frère William et un petit assistant.
An odd family.
I prefer a bird in a bush to a sparrow in a barrow.
Rather a steak in the chalet than a gristle in a castle.
An American's home is truly his castle.
I don't know enough Spanish to make myself understood.
I'll give you my mother-in-law's slippers if you give me your husband's coffin.
I'm looking for a monophysite priest to marry our maid.
Bread is a staff. Whereas bread is also a staff, and an oak springs from an oak every morning at dawn.
My uncle lives in the country, but that is none of the midwife's business.
Paper is for writing. The cat's for the rat, cheese is for scratching.
The car goes very fast, but the cook beats batter better.
Don't be turkeys. Rather, kiss the conspirator.
La charité commence à la maison.
I am waiting for the windmill to meet me at my aqueduct.
One can prove that social progress is definitely better with sugar.
To hell with polishing!
One doesn't polish spectacles with black wax.
With money, one can buy anything.
I'd rather kill a rabbit than sing in the garden.
Cockatoos, cockatoos, cockatoos! Cockatoos! Cockatoos, cockatoos, cockatoos! Cockatoos!
Such caca, such caca, such caca, such caca, such caca, such caca.
Such cascades of caca. Such cascades of caca. Such cascades of caca. Such cascades of caca. Such cascades of caca. Such cascades of caca. Such cascades of caca. Such cascades of caca.
Dogs have fleas! Dogs have fleas!
Cactus! Coccyx crocus! Crocated cockroaches!
Encastor you in cast eyes.
I'd rather lay an egg in a box than go and steal an ox.
Let me gnash my teeth!
Crocodile!
Let's go and slap you with.
I'd rather live in my cabana among my cacao trees!
Cacao trees on cacao farms don't bear coconuts! They yield cocoa! Cacao trees on cacao farms don't bear coconuts! They yield cocoa! Cacao trees on cacao farms don't bear coconuts! They yield cocoa!
Lights have lights, lights have lights.
Don't root my roots!
Don't smooch the broom.
Groom the goose! Don't goose the groom!
The goose grooms!
Groom your tooth.
Groom the bridegroom. Groom the bridegroom.
Seduce your seduce!
Scarfoosh!
Go take a douche.
I've been goose!
Shake get too stoops to my cartouche.
We'll never choose to blame, we'll never choose to stoop.
Howard Zinn!
Tony Morrison.
Tony Zinn!
Howard Morrison.
Tony Zinn!
Howard Morrison.
Tony Zinn!
Howard Morrison.
Silly gobble gobblers, silly gobble gobblers.
Mariana Spot the Pot!
Krishna-namatory, Krishna-namatory, Krishna-namatory.
The Pope you hoops! The Pope's got no horoscope! The horoscope's bespoke! Bizarre, Balzac, bazooka! A-E-I-O-U! A-E-I-O-U! A-E-I-O-U!
B, C, D, F, G, H, J, K, L, M, N, P, Q, R, S, T, V, W, X, Y, Z.
From stage to stooge, from stage to surge!
There, it's 9 o'clock. You've drunk the soup and eaten the macaroni and cheese and the American salad. The children have drunk the American water. We've eaten well this evening. That is because we live in the suburbs of Connecticut and because our name is Smith.